Butterfield, real estate and lifestyle expert with Coldwell Banker and American Dream TV. Welcome, Lynn.
Thank you, Dave. I'm excited to be here because you and I always have a great time together.
We have a great time together, and you have been an amazing supporter of our platform and everything that we've been working on. It's just a blast working with you. Your celebrity, your innovation, the way you're approaching the market, and the market has not been an easy market to approach. But that differentiation and the reciprocity that we've naturally had based on your strategies and the tactics that you've created, and how you can bring what we've put together into your, kind of include that and bring it into your career to help elevate that message. It's been incredible. And I'm super excited to talk about it today.
Well, I'm excited to talk about it too, because what I view you and Direct Wholesale Rates as is part of my team. You're my partner. And that's unusual, first off, because most mortgage people are simply focused on the transaction, and they're really not that focused on the transaction. They're really focused on getting the check. And what we're focused on is making a difference for people. And what I love is that you've made a difference for my business, and you differentiate me, and you differentiate the properties that I'm marketing as well.
Well, I am thrilled to hear that. And it is an incredible partnership. You and I have worked together for a long time, but from this particular strategy, the way you just so quickly integrated it in and saw the way to actually create the message behind the differentiation, not only for a buyer. I mean, you and I do more work with sellers
That's true.
than we do with buyers. And that's really helping to differentiate that listing. It brings a new message to the table. And that's been incredible for me, because it's helped me connect with other people in the marketplace as we've been bringing this message out there. And this message is a grassroots message, right? We are providing a wholesale strike price mortgage rate to the public. That comes with small margins. It doesn't come with big advertising budgets, right?
Right.
And so it has been incredible how you've helped us connect with the market in such a unique way, which has helped you, right? And that natural reciprocity in that, it's just been absolutely incredible.
Well, but the fact is that when I looked at the challenges that I had in getting homes sold right now, I'm saying, what's the biggest factor? What's holding people back? And there was one easy answer, and that was interest rates. So when you and I started talking about this, I'm going, this is a perfect solution for people that have a hurdle that they can't get over. So it is, to me, it was an obvious thing that you provided, and it's something I can't do myself. So I wanted to bring you in as a partner because it makes a huge difference for me. So when I sit down with my sellers, there are a couple of things that I go through with them. The first thing is that the real estate business has changed, and the mortgage business has changed. So what can we do differently? You know, at Coldwell Banker, for example, we no longer advertise in newspapers. We really, generally speaking, don't do mailers anymore. Everything's done by social media. So I had to shift my business to begin to deal with social media, and I had to bring on a full social media team to really push the message out.
Yeah.
And once I did that, and then I partnered with American Dream TV, it opened an opportunity really for me to take my social media advertising or message to the next level, because I couldn't do that on my own. And I started out with that, saying to sellers, well, I'm a host on American Dream TV. We can maybe get your home on the show, but I have to check with my producer in San Diego.
Right. Yeah.
They'll be making the final choice.
So it was kind of an offer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in a way sort of disingenuous.
Yeah.
Because that, I knew that they weren't going to make it on the show probably. But then it dawned on me, you know what? I have all the tools to push it out immediately. And so I shifted and said, look, I can guarantee you that I'm going to be able to put you on American Dream TV through an American Dream TV short. And my social media team will get you all the coverage that you need. And so they're excited about that. And then kind of the last nail in the coffin, or whatever you want to say, is
to close the deal, right?
Yes.
You've got this listing presentation. You're going through all of the different features of why you're differentiating, getting their house in front of the buyers that can really execute, qualify, deal with the market forces, and get it across the finish line, right?
And that's direct wholesale rates.
Well, that's awesome.
Because I say to them, look, Dave and his team are going to put together a direct wholesale rate mortgage package for your property. So I can say to every realtor that comes in, every buyer that calls, look, I can get you a wholesale rate. You're going to pay between a half and a full point less than with anyone else. And no one else can offer them that.
Makes a big difference on that payment.
Sure does.
Huge difference. That's what we're seeing. As we, you and I've been doing this for a long time. I'm 38 years into it. I think you're about 40. You were like 2 years old when you started. So
yeah,
you're 40 plus years.
Yeah. I'm at about almost 44 years now.
One of the things I love that you and I have always talked about is, on one side, the frustrations that and challenges we have in affordability in the United States. And on the other side, what can we do about it? Let's not just complain, right? Yeah. Let's do something about it. You've always been a proponent for that. I've always tried to do everything I can from an advocacy standpoint to how can we now actually make a difference. And it's been really fun to transact with you. We've done all kinds of different sizes of transaction, all kinds of different economic family makeups and whatnot. But every single one of them in the end are so thrilled. They're like, you really moved the needle for me. I mean, this made a big difference in my payment. It made a big difference in my decision. It made a big difference in other things that we were planning on doing, and they're coming out of it thrilled. So we're not lacking in service at all. The turn times are amazing. Everything's going really great. But what's really amazing, as we've been building this, I feel like we're making a difference. I feel like it's not just about getting another transaction across the fence, but we're making a difference in this, what has become the most difficult affordability chapter in U.S. housing that I've ever experienced.
Well, think about the last transaction that you and I were really working on together. Maybe not the last, the second to the last. But
not the last.
No. The one in the most recent past.
I'm just kidding.
And I had no idea you could do this. And this is one of the things that's so fun about working with you, is all of a sudden, I describe a problem for you, and all of a sudden you have a solution that I didn't know even existed.
Thank you.
So when I have a client who's making a 16% return on his investment portfolio, and the brokerage says to him, well, don't sell, let us lend you money against that. And all of a sudden you come riding in on a white horse and say, wait, don't do that. We can save you like 5%.
Yeah, in another way.
In another way, and the client is thrilled.
I love that. That's great. It really is fun. And, the days of most of your transactions just kind of all fitting this box, and then maybe 10% of them have a little hair on it or something unique, it's flipped.
Yeah.
I mean, today, everybody's got something. They're staring down the barrel of this increased price because we have an inventory situation still across the nation. We've got a higher interest rate. No matter what, every economic makeup, every household is looking at that saying, that wasn't in my plan. That wasn't in my, monthly financial plan. That wasn't in my family plan. That wasn't in my retirement plan. So as we're approaching those, we have so many products and so many ways in which we can customize the product that can, on top of getting a strike price wholesale rate, making the decision on the right product, and you and I working together on that, I have found that's made a big difference as well. So,
and I haven't found anyone else who can do that the way you do.
Wow, that's amazing. And I have to also give a shout out to our main partner, United Wholesale Rates. I mean, they just have this massive suite of products that we bring, directly to the public. Their support and their service levels and their ability to bob and weave within the market. I mean, we can do FHA lending all the way down to a 580 score. And then we also have investment, lending with, all kinds of products with even bank statement income and all kinds of things. And so there's this huge swath of product capability. And as we're looking at people's goals and objectives, finding that right product that fits for them. Hey, maybe it's a first-time home buyer. We're going to automatically go out and search the grants out there in the marketplace. What kind of down payment grant is there? What kind of DPA is there? We're going to go structure a transaction based on everything that makes it the best possible transaction for that client. But I got to tell you, UWM gives us amazing tools to be able to do that in minutes. And that helps us bob and weave as we continue to grow this together.
But one of the other things that we haven't talked about in that way is self-employed people. Because you and I worked on a case the other day where they're moving to a new market, bought a new company. They need to wait for 2 years before they can borrow.
Yeah.
And I listened to the statistics today on mortgage or on home prices, and the average across the U.S. was home prices are still increasing 6% per year.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you say to this client, look, we can get you in today. Why wait 2 years? Which is a 12% savings, right? Right off the top.
Yeah.
All we need to do is work with you to get a co-signer. And, that's not something you hear typically in the marketplace either. So even without the lower interest rate, we're able to save them 12% right off the top.
Right off the bat. And that deal worked out. And it's super exciting. And you and I both approach it that way. How we take an inventory of our resources and try to find out what are all of our options and then go explore that. Speaking of savings as well, that idea just popped into my mind. It's like if we look at, this is a conversation you and I have had with a lot of sellers and buyers just as of late, just in the last 3 months. And we're already starting to see it, that as interest rates kind of trickle down, and I think they're just going to slowly sort of get lower and get into a little bit lower rate, but those small incremental moves down create this little burst of buyers.
Yes.
And you and I keep seeing that.
Yes.
And this burst of buyers comes out, but yet there's not a burst of sellers. And so there's still this imbalance. And one of the things I've heard you share with our clients, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, is, as interest rates improve, we're hopeful that there will be more supply in the marketplace. But if there's not, we're going to end up back in the, you being one of 5 offers on a property and that whole entire battle, right? And so I do see that there's this really great opportunity right now. With us, they're going to get a strike price wholesale rate, right? We're also going to put them on rate watch for a refi down the road. But not only is the appreciation going up in the home every single month, right? And that 12% probably could end up being even more than that.
Yes. Because
we have this imbalance and more buyers come out with those lower interest rates. Anybody that says to me, should I wait till this summer? I'm like, no, because they've heard that, Jerome Powell is going to lower rates. Okay. The incremental improvement in rates is going to exacerbate the price of the home. And so it really is an opportunity for folks right now to get in there before it's the battle, I guess is the message there, right?
That's correct. And it's also an opportunity after the last war because people say to me, I didn't get that 3.5% mortgage rate.
Yeah.
And prices are still high. I lost my opportunity. And I look at them and I say, are you kidding me? Let's talk about what situation you would have been in 2 years ago. this same home, we would have been competing against 50 offers. 50.
50.
And
Not 5.
Right.
50.
And you probably would have had to come to the table with like $100,000 in cash above the asking price. And they look at me and they say, well, I couldn't do that. And I say, and you shouldn't do that, because you know what that's called? That's called buying down your interest rate.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you're
That's
not having to buy down your interest rate now. You're getting a real true rate that's based on today's economic environment.
Yeah.
And you're getting a great house that you probably couldn't have gotten 2 years ago because of all the competition.
Exactly.
What an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it's a great opportunity. And it what used to move in 6 month increments in our industry, or even a year, now I feel like moves in 45 days. These shifts are happening so much quicker, just week to week. You and I are talking, and it's like, are you completely slammed this week? And you're like, yeah, sorry, I haven't talked to you. I'm like, no, I'm the same. It's like, that just, you see that little market change. There's so much quick information for everybody. And they'll read something in the Financial Times or see something on CNBC, and then bam, all of a sudden that activity just turns on like a faucet.
It's a new world.
It's a new world. Yeah.
And when the United States was founded, for example, you'd send your husband off and he'd be off for a year. And then a year after he left, you'd find out that he was dead 3 months ago.
Oh, jeez.
Now it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
And so people sit or on their wallets, or they take their wallets out based on the news of the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And
that is happening.
One of the interesting things in the news today was about inflation.
Yeah.
And inflation is still higher than the Fed wants, but it's coming down slowly. You know what? I think that's the best of all scenarios, because if they just popped those rates down to 2% again, we'd be off on this crazy market that's unrealistic, that would just drive prices through the roof.
50 offers per household.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then no one can afford it anymore unless they have cash. This is a lot better. And with you putting them on Rate Watch, they get the best of all worlds, because if in a year, rates are down a point, they get to refi. And at the same time, they're getting all of the non-financial benefits of owning a home as well.
Right.
Price stability, a place where they can show people love.
Yep.
A place where they can have pets without worry.
Yeah.
All those things that they really want to make a difference in their life, so they can actually create the lifestyle they want today, rather than sit and dream about something that might never happen in the future.
And they're in control of it.
Yes.
Right? They can have the colors on the walls and the carpet that they want, and they can do whatever they want to the yard. It's their control. They don't have to ask for permission.
Yes.
And it's a big thing. And, it's, as the market continues to evolve, and, I do think we're going to have some lower interest rates, just because tracking the consumer, tracking spending, tracking how that spending has been occurring and whatnot, we do see that slowing down. So I do think we're going to get there to that lower rate. And I think we're going to have a situation where we have, again, multiple offers on a property. Is there anything in the market, Lynn, that you see? You've been doing this for a long time. And it's interesting. I get different stories on supply. I am hearing some experts say, yes, we're also going to get supply in 24 and definitely in 25. And here's these reasons behind it, right? One of the things I think brings supply is just what I'm hearing from the seller side of the equation. And that is, I'm sitting on this 3% interest rate. I just can't afford not to take advantage of that. So I'm going to hold on to this as long as I can, and maybe I'll turn this property into a rental. But that doesn't work for everybody.
No.
And not everybody should be a landlord, right?
They should not.
And exactly. And so you just kind of get to this situation. I kind of feel like there's this pent up demand, at least this is what I'm hearing from our clients, is that there's just this bit of this pent up demand where they've made the house fit because of the rate. that rate is so low that they got through the COVID era, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, for the normal movement in the marketplace, family expands, I need another bedroom, or I've brought my career and I'm working from home, so I need an office, or I need this backyard, or, something changes where, who knows? There's all these different life circumstances, right? That really kind of dictate, okay, I'm going to change from this home to this home, or maybe I need to move somewhere else for some purpose, right? I feel like all of that has kind of built up like almost like a rubber band that's really, really tight. And people have been super patient and dealing with, it's not perfect, but I love this rate. And I feel like that's also kind of getting to a point where if rates even get into the high fours, which with us, it's hit that many times over the last weeks because of the wholesale strike price, I think that kind of turns on sellers a little bit too, doesn't it?
It does. And the kind of component that we haven't talked about with that is the tail end of the baby boom. And that's my generation. And they have big houses. They're looking to retire right now. And they don't need or want those big houses anymore. So that inventory is going to come on the market.
Got it. Okay.
And people seem to be ignoring that fact. And one of the interesting trends with that is it used to be that kids would move back to town to be with their parents so the grandkids could grow up with the parents. But that's reversed now. The grandparents are selling their house in Oregon or Utah or whatever, and they're moving out to Arkansas to be with their grandkids. And so that's a whole other dynamic. So to really understand what's going on in real estate and with the financial markets, you have to take a look at the demographics. And demographics are key.
Down to the market level.
Yes.
Like super forensic. Like targeted data analytics of that particular market and what's going on.
And I hate to break it to everybody, but being a baby boomer, I can see the darkness at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I know that at some point I'm going to have to go into assisted living. At some point I'm going to have to pass away. And those houses... You're
going to live forever, Lynn.
Yeah, right.
You're Superman.
But those houses are going to be coming on the market.
Yeah, no, I hear that too. It's interesting. There's been a lot of, since things like Verbo and a lot of DSCR, so many people can watch a video. There's companies out there that attract people in to get rich, with real estate. You can do it without no money down and, all this stuff. And you see a lot of that. And a lot of people got into DSCR, and a lot of people took the value of, say, grandma's house, right? And it was either paid off or maybe they could mortgage it at a lower interest rate or whatever the case may be to then go buy other properties and stuff like that. So some of that generational trade has turned into DSCR, but it kind of feels like we're at the tail end of that. It kind of feels like there was a kind of a rush of that through sort of halfway through COVID and, up to where we're at now. But I kind of feel like that's kind of slowed down from, like, if you were to think of a retail investor in stocks, right? I'm a retail investor in stocks and I know what I'm doing. Oh, whoops, I didn't that time, and there's kind of that retail investor in DSCR and rental properties. And I've had discussions with a lot of friends where they've done it and they're asking me, how's the best way to unwind myself out of this? And I'm like, well, let's go analyze what you have going on first, because maybe you don't want to unwind it, but let's look at it. And if you do, I've got somebody that I'm going to send you to. And so that's interesting. The last thing I'd love just a little your insights on and your experience. This is the first time. It's really interesting, that switch from seller's market to buyer's market to seller's market, and that ebb and flow. The slack water has always been instant, like very like short. You almost didn't even realize it.
Right.
It just moves. It just feels like we've been in that slack water for a long time. There's not a seller's market. There's not a buyer's market. It's so interesting for me to hear the stress in both voices.
Sure.
Is this going to sell? And am I going to buy? I mean, am I going to get this sold? And am I going to get this bought? It's really the first time in my career where that same sort of level of stress is kind of on both sides of the fence right now. And we're kind of in that slack water of it's not a seller's market and it's not a buyer's market.
And I can see why you call it slack water, but the reality of it is that we have to make the numbers work.
Yeah.
And once you make the numbers work, the slack water goes away because
and it starts flowing.
Everyone benefits.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You take a look. I have a client from Texas right now. They wanted a specific neighborhood, a specific kind of a house, specific size, all those kinds of things. And we went in and made an offer on a house. It came on the market for one day, and I mean, this is 2 weeks ago, and you're thinking, oh, we're going to be fine. So I say to the client, we just need to give them a full price offer. So we did, and guess what? 5 offers later, we didn't get the property.
Wow!
And so we missed that house by $1,000.
So
after it closed,
it already started flowing
Yes.
to the seller in that particular case, but it was that perfect house, toothbrush ready.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And so, what I said to him is, look, you didn't get this house. I understand it's disappointing, but that simply means it wasn't your house.
Yeah, okay.
Let's wait to get you the next house. Yeah. So 2 weeks later, a house that he actually likes more comes on the market.
Perfect.
And the first day, we're ready to act, and we go and we make the offer. We hedged our bet a little bit. We came in $5,000 above asking price, but we're under contract and we'll close within 2.5 weeks.
Brilliant. That's awesome.
So it's all about, the fantasy days are gone. So if someone's coming in and they're overpricing their house by $50,000, it's going to sit there.
Yeah.
Because consumers have more access to information than they've ever had. So we just give people the truth. We say, look, this is probably what your house is worth. In reality, we'll sell it. We'll try to sell it for whatever you want, but this is where you're going to be. And oh, by the way, in order to make all of that brackish water go away, we're going to enhance the offer by giving them a direct wholesale rate.
Yeah.
So everybody wins and everyone's happy.
Wins. Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's all about the numbers.
It is. It comes down to that at the end of the day, right? I mean, it absolutely does. And thank you for sharing that again. And it's been amazing being a part of being such a material difference and really moving the needle in some of those cases. And at the same time, it also brings confidence to the buyer as they're looking at that particular situation and that particular kind of perfect house for them, right? Well, everybody else is going to be thinking perfect house as well.
Yes.
And then that gives them that confidence to come in and say, okay, here's where my offer is going to be, right? So I love that. And I think that that's really powerful. We are just honored to be a part of that.
Well,
it's super cool.
You're not just a part of it, you're integral to that, because
awesome, man.
People watching this don't understand what you and I are doing behind the scenes. And we're texting back and forth. We're talking on the phone. We're talking about scenarios, trying to make it work for this individual. Like you said, it's not a box. It's about the individual.
And I want to compliment you on something, on what you just said right there. It is, I'm very hands-on in this industry. I love it. I'm an addict like you are. But it is awesome for somebody with as much business as you do, and the celebrity behind your brand, everything you've done with American TV. There's not a day that goes by I don't have a call for you, or multiple. Okay,
that's true.
It is awesome, and thank you for that. That is just incredible, and we love that. I love that. But it's awesome how hands-on you are. You are literally involved down to the nitty-gritty on all of your clients. You give them 100% of yourself. I don't know how you do it. I don't know if you ever sleep, but you don't have some team I talk to. I mean, you have a team. I don't ever talk to them. Like, you and I are the ones talking about these transactions down to the nittiest grittiest little thing as we're getting them through the pipe. And I think that is amazing.
Well, what you've just described is a partnership.
Yeah. Thank you. And I love it.
Me too.
It's awesome. And you have that with your clients, and they feel that, and it's really fun to be a part of your transactions, man. People come out of them very, very helpful, and this team we've put together on it's been so much fun.
It really has been, and it's going to be more profitable for everybody in the future as well.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Lynn, thank you so much. This has been incredible. You know how much I appreciate your support of our platform. It's been incredible. The business, thank you so much. And as we continue to grow this and perfect the strategy, what you bring to your listings, the way we're able to contribute in those messages, what we're doing with the buyers together, it's all just a blast. It's a ton of fun, and it's just awesome working with you, man. Thank you for being a part of it.
Thanks for letting me be with you.
Awesome. And thank you for joining us today.